Hey, everybody, and welcome to Scouting the League. Here we are in November. Scouting visits are starting to wind down. Many schools across the country are getting very limited or closed altogether about any day now with rivalry games coming up. That means tightened access and a desire for less distractions. It's nearly report cleanup time for scouts across the country. So, what happens next for scouts? I discussed it today here on Scouting the League. Everybody, and welcome to Scouting the League. We will jump in and talk about this process for the scouts who are out on the road. But first, let me remind you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast wherever you are listening and watching, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or that video portion over on YouTube. Hit those buttons. Most importantly, share this with a friend. If you are a scout or aspiring scout who wants this process to be known out there, make sure you let everybody know. Check me out. I am Rodrik David at Right Step ADV. Give me a follow there. Head over to my website, rsafootball.com. Read my full background history, how I came to RSA Football, and what I am doing now for both scouts, aspiring scouts, agents, and everybody in the football world. And for you scouts and aspiring scouts, make sure you check out thescoutingcommunity.com, where I am working to become the unofficial and certified union for NFL scouts. No, we'll never unionize, but perhaps we can do something together to make the industry better, give you resources that perhaps are lacking, or if nothing else, information that is held so tightly across the NFL, all over at thescoutingcommunity.com. And for aspiring scouts, make sure you check it out as well. What you need to know, what you need to be doing to someday become an NFL scout. I'm not going to be able to help you get the job, but I can help you take the next steps to where you yourself are going to be in the right spot to get that job. And check out our partner over at bluemaca.com, the insoles that will improve performance just by sliding them into your shoes with that non-slip technology. Times go up, recovery goes up. Of course, not slipping will help you be quicker and faster, or get those recovery insoles and those carbon fiber turf toe insoles as well. All of it over at bluemaca.com. Use code SCOUTING20. Let them know that we sent you from our podcast and get that discount off those insoles. Make sure you check out all our archives and get reminders for our upcoming guests, whether it's Jay Paterno talking about the future of college football, Gary Zahner talking about specialists, Mike McCartney talking about Aiden Hutchinson's new contract, or any of our great guests, great content, everything coming up on Scouting the League. But today we jump into what's next for college scouts who are finishing up their time on the road. As we talked about on this podcast, Thanksgiving is always a big time circled on every scouting calendar. Really have to try to be done here the first or second week of December or November. Some smaller schools are going to stay open a little bit longer. Big schools across the country start to tighten it up as they get closer to these rivalry games. Paranoia certainly kicks up another level, and it's just time to keep those distractions down. College scouts want to get off the road, be home for Thanksgiving. Maybe you grab a local game, close game at that weekend of Thanksgiving, but really it is time to get home, get off the road, spend some time with your family, and start cleaning up report. And that's really the first thing scouts are thinking about. So many teams across the NFL have gone to either an early December, we'll call it December 10th due date, or hey, just start getting your reports finalized come December meetings. And some teams have a hard deadline. Some teams have deadlines throughout the fall season. Some teams have a soft deadline where it's, hey, combine, April, anything sometime in the spring. But again, reports need to be finished up. That is one thing that every scout wants to start to wash their hands of prospects they feel really good about, good on character, good on their on-field stuff. Of course, that is always going to be ongoing, but you want to start to have a good feel for those players across the country. It is also time to make sure you scour those Blesto and NFS updates, as those Blesto and NFS scouts continue to update players that are going to be a part of this 2026 draft class, whether they're late risers, late poppers, players that came off injuries or are now playing that are going to be a part of that 2026 draft. Have to make sure you go through, have all of your reports on those players, and Blesto and NFS may start to think about some of those junior players whose schools are submitting to the NFL, want to start going through those juniors. Again, juniors that maybe we're doing some work on, hey, we can go ahead and slide those guys to 2027. We have good reason to believe they're never going to be a part of this 2026 draft class. Hey, let's keep our work done. Let's make sure all of our notes are up to date, but slide them back to 2027, put a note in there on why we believe that be the case. But again, for some of these guys, again, late rising juniors that maybe have a reason, coaching or otherwise, to jump into this 2026 draft class, make sure some film is watched, some character starts to go in there, and perhaps what you have heard and are hearing across the country on those juniors. Time to revisit those reports with those late risers. This is where good college directors, good national and regional scouts are going to help you make sure you're circling back on those reports for players where maybe you're a little high based on what everybody else is hearing, or perhaps maybe you're a little bit low. Again, where, like I said, scouting directors are going to play a huge role. It's not just about being right, but making sure everybody has the correct eyes on those players to make sure those reports are where they need to be. This is also a huge time for phone calls as scouts continue to keep building that character. A great time to circle back with high school coaches that used to coach them. Again, whether they're former coaches that have moved on to new schools, coaches that have a little bit of time starting to be freed up this time of year throughout the country. Keep building that character. That is always something that is said. Character is never done up until Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of draft time. That character profile on every athlete is going to continue to be built out. That character is never done. So you're going to keep following up on every resource. Is it the same story? Is it the same language? Is it the same information you're getting? Keep working on that character and exhaust every resource you have to make sure that character is right. And a lot of this is building towards December meetings. So many teams across the NFL get together for about a week, get together in their building. Maybe it is to go to a home game of their team. Maybe it's, sans a game, depending on that schedule, but a week to sit down. Either start to look at your front board, thinking about those day one, day two draft picks. Who are those guys going to be? Start to clean up that. Who do we really need to focus on during combine and springtime? Maybe it's a backboard meeting. Maybe it is that day 3, rounds 4 through 7. Hey, let's start to clean those guys off. That is where you really to start to chop some of those 6th and 7th round grades. Hey, yes, they were 6 or 7s. They probably belong in that undrafted free agent pile. Let's start to work on that. Or on the other end, let's rip through priority positions where there are a lot of players on that backboard, UDFAs. Who do we need to talk about that will help clean up that board? Again, every scout is going to have 100 or so draft graded players from across the country, which is, when you start talking about it, maybe 300 to 400 or more players with draft grades. By the time that draft comes, you're probably talking 200 or so players that will have that draft grade come April. So you have to start cleaning up somewhere, whether it's front board, backboard, character, film, maybe it's just state of your team. Teams will get together for those December meetings, be in person, talk about how the fall went, and start to clean up all that. And from those December meetings, you will start to talk about all-star games as those get kicked off in early January. Spread your scouts out, whether it's CGS, Hula Bowl, American Bowl, Tropical Bowl, or some of the big games as you start getting to that Senior Bowl East-West, where you will have a heavy presence. Start to get them there, start to get those scouts lined up for where they're going to go, and get everything lined up for your spring. It is also what I would argue an invaluable time to start and continue on the evaluation process for your NFL scouts, which is sorely missing as those scouts come off the road. It is a time to reflect on what they did well, where they need work, and it is important for every NFL building to have somebody in place that is really focused on that. Your college director is usually not that guy. He is going to be a part of the evaluation, part of scheduling. He is going to be a part of that evaluation, but teams have got to take evaluation more seriously, something that I'm working on through the scoutingcommunity.com and something that I am continuing to focus on as I have conversations with this team. Scouts evaluate, coaches are evaluated, players are evaluated, NFL scouts should be evaluated. This is a time when it needs to start. Whether you are new a GM, whether you are a sitting GM, every piece of your team should be evaluated all the time. This is a time to get it started with those NFL scouts to make sure the spring, a time of development, can happen before they get to that summer vacation. So, lots going on as we get into November and December, focusing on wrapping up the college season, focusing on those college football playoff games. Who do we need to keep track of in January as we get to All-Star Game and so much more? New GMs, whether they are end up being new or not, usually don't affect most of the staff for now, especially those that have been doing the majority of the character working. And you talk your area scouts, regional scouts, and national scouts. For GMs where changes are made, maybe your high level assistant GMs, DPPs, perhaps you see some changes there. But for the majority of the scouting staff, those changes will not happen till May, something we will certainly talk about through the spring. High-level changes only. Again, hopefully for the sake of scouting staffs, for the sake of stability, there are less changes than normal. But as we always know, usually 4 to 5 to 6 is the number. We will see where it's at. Miami, of course, can be looking for a replacement for Chris Grier. Chris Grier, I'd imagine, will have some opportunities come the springtime. But always a time for change, whether it's in the process, change in the draft boards, change in meetings, always a time, Thanksgiving to Christmas for college scouts. Have more questions about the process? Let me know over at Right Step ADV. Leave me comments, leave me thoughts, leave me notes. Let me know what you want to hear about the scouting process in the future. Working to bring you everything from the scouting world, whether it's myself, whether it's my partner Neil Stratton over at Inside the League, whether it is everything we bring you here on Scouting the League. You know we won't just watch football, but we will keep scouting.